last fire will rise. The last fire will rise behind those eyes. Black house will rock. Blind boys don't lie. Immortal fear. That voice so clear.
Hello, YouTubers. So today I wanted to talk to you about a random movie that I happened to find on the instant Netflix. I had never even heard of it, but it looked like something that might be interesting. Something that might be interesting. It looked like something that I might enjoy watching. So I figured I'd give it a try. It was a comedy called Super. Now, after watching this, one thing that I will caution you, I would definitely categorize it as a dark comedy. Which I happen to be fond of comedies like that. So I actually really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really funny. I really liked it. If you are thinking this is something along the lines of Kick-Ass, where it's like, a lighthearted, well, I guess Kick-Ass had a little bit of its own dark side too, but anyway, this is not that. This was, like I said, more of like a dark comedy. So what it is basically there's this really socially awkward, I guess you could put it, guy. He's played by Rainn Wilson, who a lot of you will know from The Office. He basically he's his whole life he's been kind of an awkward dude, kind of not have a lot of friends, kind of keep to himself. And he finally, at one point he meets and falls in love with this woman. They get married. She had a little bit of a dark past of her own, got into drugs and stuff. Well, as the movie begins, what happens is that this drug dealer, actually played by Kevin Bacon. Let me just pause there to say, Kevin Bacon, I just gotta say, is awesome. I love this guy because he's this guy who's been in, he's a big actor. He's been in a ton of stuff, like really big movies. He's a big name dude. Yet he'll still do random stupid stuff like this. I love guys like that. So anyway, Kevin Bacon plays the this drug dealer. He happens to to kind of steal away the main character's girl. So the main character, this is the only person who's he's ever really loved. The only person he can actually feel happy with. So he obviously goes a little bit crazy. And eventually he happens into a comic book store where he gets like the inspiration basically to become a superhero. So he becomes the Crimson Bolt. Now, the guy, he isn't exactly the greatest superhero, let's put it that way. He winds up, he gets his ass kicked, quite frankly, early on, so decides that he needs some kind of a weapon. He winds up using like a big honking wrench, basically, and he just starts beating people in the head with it. So mind you, he is going after criminals. He's beating like drug dealers over the head and stuff like that, with his really terrible, his hilariously terrible catchphrase of "Shut up, crime." So at first, the news is kind of and public opinion kind of are thinking of him as a criminal. I mean, because he's just beating people in the head with a wrench. But later on, they do start to kind of realize that they look into the people that he's been attacking, and aside from maybe some of the people that he hits for butting in line, but aside from that, they start to look into and realize that these are some hard criminals that he's been attacking. So they start to think of him as a vigilante, like superhero type thing. Along the way, he actually he meets a girl, actually in the comic book store, a young girl, like in her early 20s, actually played by Ellen Page, and she's a little weird herself, so she becomes obsessed with becoming his sidekick. She even through to the point she has her own costume. So their relationship is, to me, is a big part of what makes makes it so funny. So it was definitely it was a really funny movie. It was great. It was one that I highly recommend. Like I said, it is a bit of a dark comedy. So if you are looking for like a lighthearted comedy, this is definitely not that. But if you're into dark comedies, sometimes, then this is definitely one that I recommend you pick up. I thought even the costumes were really awesome. The Crimson Bolt costume is funny. Ellen Page looks great in her costume. So it was just overall it was a really cool movie, and it's definitely one I recommend you check out. It's on the instant Netflix, at least when I last checked. So I recommend you give it a shot if you're into that kind of thing. Okay, thank you, YouTubers. Have a nice day.